Welcome everyone. This is Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden and I will be your Master Coach today. And today we're going to be talking about the end goal. The end goal of life, the end goal of us living. And it's not so much of our fulfillment and our passion, because we're going to be talking about something unique. The aspect that many people don't even realize they do. Sometimes the first place trophy, all the admiration, the bells and the whistles, we start to see that as what we need, what we want. But I'm here to tell you that everything that glitters is not always gold, because we can have the fast cars, the big homes, and we can still move through life slowly. We can still be lonely. So what, you're going to be lonely in a mansion? And some people might say, I would rather be lonely in a mansion than to be upset and sad and depressed and stressed in my shack or in my house. It's going to depend on the people, right? But most people are going to want that glitter, want that gold. And I can say from living my life and from being around the people who have everything in the world, everything they can want. There's still stress, still issues, there's still problems. But that's the end goal for many people, right? And a lot of people, they think, well, I'm just going to get to this point, and when I get to this point, everything changes. But that's not the truth. We need something else to change. We're going to be talking about that today. So we're going to be first looking at my blog that came out yesterday, Everything That Glitters Is Not Always Gold, breaking that down, and then giving you the secret to how you should be looking at life. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share the video and or audio to help build an audience of like-minded individuals. That means share it with your mom, share it with your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousins, aunts, uncles, whoever, friends. We want this out because a lot of people have this misconception of what success is. People think that success is going to be a moment in their life where they're going to say, well, everything is good. Well, success doesn't have to be that. Success can be struggle. Success can be hardship. Success can be unhappiness. But we like to think about the fairy tale ending. A lot of people have that Hollywood-esque type of mentality when they're envisioning their dreams. So they envision, oh, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that, and I'm going to feel this way. The issue with that is that you don't even know how it feels yet. Now, you might have eventually got to that point and maybe lost it, so you're building that back up. But for the majority of people listening to this episode, you're not going to be one of those people who reached the top and said, oh my goodness, it's not that great up here. Let me go back down, right? Typically, it's stripped away. It's lost. It's, like you're holding on to it and it just slips through your fingers. So it just depends on what you are trying to accomplish. Because if you are just saying, well, I want all these cars, I want all these homes, I want to go on all these vacations, I want all of the materialism. I'm not saying that you can't have that in your life. But if that is your focus, you're going to find yourself on the other end unhappy, unfulfilled, and left with no purpose. Because you were thinking once you got to that point, everything is going to be good. Yet many people can be living the life that they should, but they're living life backwards. They're waiting for tomorrow. They're waiting for the good parts in their life rather than understanding what's good today. So this blog right here, Everything That Glitters Isn't Always Gold, is going to be breaking down the idea of how you can have all the things in the world and yet still be unhappy. Have all the things in the world and yet still find yourself with issues and problems that you thought would be gone. Yes, there might be rich people problems and poor people problems, and the poor people would rather have the rich people problems, but the rich people finally get there and they're like, man, when my life was simple, maybe that was the poor mentality too. We can live life very simple, yet we want lavish. We want extravagant, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there has to be a limit. And in this story, or in this blog, I'm talking about a story. And this is a popular story. I'm going to read it actually today. Of a fisherman. And this is like a Brazilian story or a Mexican story, a Hispanic Latino story. And they're talking about a businessman and he's talking to a fisherman. So the story goes a little bit like this. A businessman once sat on the beach in a small Brazilian village. As he sat, he saw a Brazilian fisherman rowing a small boat towards the shore. having caught quite a few big fish. The businessman was impressed and asked the fisherman, "How long does it take for you to catch so many fish?" The fisherman replied, "Oh, just a short while." "Then why don't you stay longer at sea and catch even more?" "This is enough to feed my whole family," the fisherman said. The businessman asked, "So what do you do for the rest of the day?" The fisherman replied, "Well, I usually wake up early in the morning, go out to sea, catch a few fish, and go back and play with my kids. In the afternoon, I nap with my wife, and in the evening comes, I join my buddies in the village for a drink. We play guitar, sing, and dance throughout the night." The businessman offered a suggestion to the fisherman. He says, "I'm a PhD in business management. I could help you become more successful each and every day," right? You could be the person with all of this success. "From now on, you should spend more time at sea and try to catch as many fish as possible. You could buy a bigger boat and catch even more fish when you have saved enough money. Soon you can afford to buy more boats and set up your own company and your own production plant for canned food and the distribution network. By then, you will have moved out of this village to Sao Paulo, where you can set up HQ to manage your other branches." The fisherman continues, "And after that?" The businessman laughs heartily. "After that, you can live like a king in your own house, and when the time is right, you can go public and float your shares into the stock exchange, and you'll be rich." The fisherman asks, "And after that?" The businessman says, "Well, after that, you can finally retire. You can move to a house by the fishing village, wake up early in the morning, catch a few fish, then return home to play with kids, have a nice afternoon nap with your wife, and when evening comes, you can join your buddies for a drink, play guitar, sing, and dance throughout the night." The fisherman was puzzled, and he said, "Isn't that what I'm doing right now?" The story took a turn for the worst when the fisherman asked the businessman, "Well, aren't I doing that already?" It's a wonderful question because he is doing the end goal of what many people want, right? I want to just live a nice, calm life, not have any worries or very little worries. I'm going to just hang out with my family, love and cherish them, do the things that are important to me. Right now, a lot of people, they're doing a lot of things that are not important to them, whether it be their career, whether it be the frivolous things they have to do, the monotonous things they have to do every single day. We can start to make some changes in our life, and it doesn't have to be starting a big company and changing our whole entire repertoire just for a little bit of success. So we can be so busy, and then all of a sudden, at the end of it, then we can take a break. And we're not talking about just taking a break to take a break. We're saying taking a break because you finally accomplished this lofty, lofty goal. But how many years did you give up? How many years did you sacrifice? And sometimes you are going to sacrifice. I want you to understand that, right? Sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice, and maybe for the greater good of things, right? If you have a family and you want them to be in a better place, maybe you decide, you know what? I want my family to be in a better place, right? So I'm going to work extra. Maybe you even sacrifice even more. I'm going to work morning and in the evening so I can put them in good schools. And if they want to go to college, it would already be paid for. All of that can be done. We do it all the time. So we will work our butts off in order to make people happy, to give our kids a better life. But what happens if you're not a parent? What happens if you're just a regular guy, a regular girl, and you want something more in your life, but you're having a hard time taking action, or you just don't know what type of action to take? Yes, you have these lofty goals again. You dream of being on top of the mountain. You dream of being in the Hall of Fame, right? You know, the Hollywood Boulevard, right? In the mansions of California, right? With all the forest fires. Yes, you can live there. You can be good. But the issue that many people don't realize is that they sacrifice their youth. They sacrifice so much energy for what? Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not good. Because what happened if that fisherman in the story said, "Hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself. I'm going to be really, really rich so my kids don't have to go to work." But what happened if his kids just did the same thing that the fisherman did, right? Just take it easy, have enough, and go through life. There's a difference in personalities here, right? You can be a go-getter, or you can be just someone who says, I'm good with what I got. Depending on the type of person, it's going to lead to a different type of conversation. The first person that is a go-getter, no matter what they do, they can always do more. There's always a next step until you finally get to your goal, and then you create more steps. Unless you don't want to, right? You can always keep on with new ventures, new businesses, new problems. If we think about our phones, our smartphones, guess what happens? After a year, there's a new smartphone that we just have to have. The camera is only 2 megapixels better, but guess what? It's brand new, right? It's a different number. So if we're on 14 and next year is 15, we need the 15 because we can't be left out. We need to have it. We'll work extra hard to get it, but we won't work extra hard to make good in our life. So we look at the good things. We look at the gold. We look at the bags. We look at the cars. We look at the houses, and we say, this is what we want. And this is what we're going to sacrifice for. My go-getters, right? We're going to go get it. They do go get it, right? They might succeed. They might not succeed. But what I can tell you is that they are pushing. They're pushing and they're pushing. They're pushing. They're living life backwards. Because I will tell you, when those people get to that finish line, that goal, they don't find the happiness that they thought would be there. They think everything is just going to be hunky-dory. Oh, if I have money, it's going to fix things. Oh, if I have money, I can have more friends that like me, or I can have the vacations and things like that. And I mean, I've been to places in the world. No matter where you go, there's going to be stress. There's going to be issues and problems that you have to address. Sometimes you can have moments of solitude. Take a step back from the real world that you're in. Maybe you can get an escape. But is there an easier way to escape? You could meditate, right? You can go work out. You can do yoga. That's an escape. Every single morning I get that escape. I get that release. I get to say, I'm going out to get all of this energy that I have. And once I get some of this energy out, I can start to control the energy I have left. Because in the beginning of the day, we're just raging balls of energy, right? Sometimes some people are going to be a little lethargic, don't want to move because they don't like their job. But that's a mindset. Because your mind is just not wired to say, boom, we're up, let's begin. Let's start. If you are that type of person, right, we need to control that energy. We need to make sure we're doing the right things. Because if it is doing the wrong things, like scrolling through our emails and going through all of our messages, and I mean, you're always going to have a new message. There's always someone who wants something from you or needs something from you, and you're the guy or girl who's going to make that happen. You're going to facilitate it. And if you're not one of those people, then you're going to be just part of the crowd, part of the roster, right? Of the gang. So you're in this clique of people who are going out, trying to get more, trying to find meaning and live life to the fullest, YOLO. You only live once. Yet we live in a way where we're chasing glitter that's not really gold. We're chasing a false fantasy that's only going to lead to regret and unhappiness. Because when you don't have your youth and when you don't have the time anymore, you're going to start to second guess what you're doing. Especially when you have more years behind you than you do in front of you. Most people don't realize that time is moving and it's going to come a point when it's just that midlife crisis. What do? Do you make some changes or do you stay? For the people who decide to remain in that complacency, understand that things are going good and they're living the life that they want. Good on them. There's two types of people in this world. People who are going to go out, start a company, be worldwide, go public. Then there's going to be people who just want to catch a few fish, come home and spend time with their family. You have to decide that for yourself. Because gold can be that with your family, or gold can be having a huge company that everyone in the world knows about. You get to decide what success is for you. All I know is that when I see the people who have it all, they have the money, the fame, you look at them, right? They're good people still, right? They have good things going for them, but yet they're looking for a deeper escape, whether it be drugs or alcohol, sex, or whatever it be. They're looking for that escape. How can we get that escape? Because right now life is just not what I thought it was. I'm trying to get by. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to change. But yeah, I keep falling back. I keep falling back to the habits that I created along the way to cope with this struggle that I am currently partaking in. And I don't want to stop, because if you think about stopping, most people don't like to change up their lifestyle. So if you are living at a certain lifestyle right now, the probability of you lowering your lifestyle for a year or 2 years or whatever is very slim. Not many people will do it. But for the people who would do it, lower their lifestyle from where it was or where it is right now, you are going to be one of those individuals who can go far. It's just a sign, right? It's just a sign of, will you give up what you have in order to replace it for something better? Sometimes we just get stuck with what we have. It's difficult for us to take action, the right action, and move ourselves into the world we're supposed to be in, rather than the world that we were led to as children, right? Or young adults. We need this in order to be successful. You need this. That's why when you turn on the TV, they tell you what you need to buy. They tell you that you're going to feel happy when you buy it. And then after everything, oh, don't worry, you can pay it off in 5 years. But they don't say 5 years. In 60 months, you can have your dream car. 60 months, I can count up to 60. That's what people are doing, right? Sales and marketing, they know what they're doing. Yet, they are playing us fools because they know what they're doing. They know we're going to keep on chasing something because it's going to give us a semblance of status. It's going to make us feel better momentarily. Everyone wants to be happy. Yet, the people who want happiness don't understand what it takes to be happy. They think happiness is a destination. I'll be happy when I get the cars, when I get the house, when I get the gold and the bling bling and the diamonds and all this stuff. That's when happiness is, right? That's where happiness should be, right? But happiness is not there. Happiness is along the way. The journey that you take can be happiness. But what about the fisherman, right? He's not really going on a journey. He's just literally going out, getting some food, hanging out with his family, and hanging out with the crew. Where is that journey there? But if he went on a journey to start that company, to start the process for evolving his current circumstance, as long as he doesn't keep that goal in the back of his head or on the top of his mind, oh, I'm doing this so I can be with my family, take a nap, hang out with the boys. But if you say, I want to create something in the world, that's going to lead you to a different mindset. And I think sometimes people think that they say, I have to do this rather than I want to do this. Because the people who have this wonderful life already, yes, they have this wonderful life. They want to keep that wonderful life. And we see that wonderful life and we say, we want that. I want that, right? Because that's going to make me feel better. Just because it's going to make you feel better, it doesn't mean that it's going to be for you. Think of it as if I said you can be successful in your life and you can have all the things you envisioned for yourself. You created a vision board and you're ready, right? I got my vision board. I know the house I'm going to get. I know what type of car I'm going to get. As soon as I make it big, I'm going to do this. So you finally make it big. The first thing you do is you get the car, you get the house, and you realize that things are moving pretty fast. So you're not having an opportunity to sit back and relish in what just happened. Your success, your victory was short-lived. Our successes or our emotions last 90 seconds. So when you finally get that good, promotion or whatever deal, business going, you're going to find that you're going to live it, think about it, be happy for a little bit about it, but then you're going to regulate. It's just going to be another day. It's just a regular day. And that's what happens. We get used to it and it becomes our normal again. So the things that we see as glitter and gold is someone else's normal. And when you reach that glitter and gold, it's going to be your normal too. And you might think, well, I would rather have that normal. But the problem with that normal is it might come with a plethora of issues and dramas that you might say, I would rather have my old life that was more simple than the life that I have right now. I know people who regret reaching for that gold. They got it, but they have that voice in the back of their head. What if I didn't grab for it? I'll have an easy life. I would still have money. I would have the good things. I wouldn't be living exactly how I am living right now. but I would be more modest. What type of life do we want to live? If we're following what the world says or what Hollywood says, we're going to be in for a rude awakening at the end of it. You're going to find when you finally reach that summit, fulfillment is not there, happiness is not there, love is not there, prosperity is not there. It was all a lie. And when these wealthy people, they want to work with me and they say, well, I'm looking for something else in my life. I'm looking for that passion, that spark, right? Like, I love working, but it's just not the same anymore. It happens to everyone that has achieved greatness in their life because they finally got to the goal. They finally got to that point, and it's not what they thought. Might be better, but for how long, right? Because again, we normalize, we get used to that normal. And then now it's, well, let's find what's going to fulfill you now. Because it's not what your business was. Now your business can pay for coaching. It can pay for your house and your cars and your vacations. But guess what? It's not going to pay for your peace. It's not going to pay for you to understand that the time that you invested in building yourself up cannot be given back. So yes, you can have all the riches in the world, but understand that just because it's on someone else's finger or someone else's neck or in someone else's life, it doesn't mean it has to be in yours. Understand what you want. Take a step back. Ask yourself truly, what do you want? Do you want a big house so one day you can realize this house is too big? You have this big house, you got to pay for the electricity, you got to clean it, you got to do all this stuff in this house. When something breaks, you are now responsible for that, right? It could be a headache, right? Look at the Tyson mansion. A huge estate. But guess what? People don't want to live there, right? It's just too many problems. It's just too big. Yes, it's a very cool home, but at the end of the day, is it too much? Because we're going to find in life that we can go just enough, we can go too far, or we can miss our mark totally and not even show up. Where do you stand on that scale? Are you a person who just sits back and stays back? Are you a person who is always right on point? Or are you someone who pushes past to your mark? It's going to tell you exactly where you are in your mindset. Are you envisioning your future for something that it is not right now? Or are you looking at your future for what you want to see yourself accomplish? There's a difference in seeing you succeed and win rather than you winning and then the world seeing that you have this success. No one cares that you have that success except maybe you, your friends, and your family are going to want stuff from you at this point. It's going to create a lot of problems. Everything that glitters is not always gold, but yet it will keep our attention. So pay attention to where you are, pay attention to where you want to be, and then figure out what true visions do you want to accomplish? Because we only have one life, so we have to make sure we get it right. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, you can email me coachinginsession@gmail.com, and I will see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone, take care.